Our guest is Gabriel Weimann, professor of communication at the University of Haifa in Israel, but currently with us here at the Wilson Center as a fellow. Welcome, Gabriel. Good to have you here. We're going to be talking about your area of expertise and study, lone wolf terrorists. And let's begin with the terminology. What does this describe?
Yeah, the term lone wolf terrorism describes an emerging trend of terrorists that seem to be operating by themselves. That is, they are not connected, they are not related to any organization or group. They seem to be all by themselves. However, the way my study demonstrates, this is a wrong term. Like in nature, lone wolf terrorists never operate alone. Mm-hmm. In nature too, by the way, lone wolf cannot survive. They hunt always in packs. And if you study the way we did lone wolves in terrorism, you find that there's a virtual pack behind them. They are always linked, they are always connected, but they do it online.
And the linkage is via the internet.
Yeah, the internet provides them. There's numerous platforms ranging from website, chat rooms, social media, YouTube. These are instruments for them, tools to relate, to connect. Now, lone wolves are very hard to detect because they don't go to mosques, they don't go to gatherings, they don't belong to groups. They are hidden somewhere in their homes. They are only connected via cyberspace.
Is this what you call the dark web?
Yeah. They use the dark web too, and this is what makes them so hard to find, because they don't come out until the action itself, until the attack. All the recruitment, radicalization, all the teaching, and even the launching is done online.
Now, what about success rate? You talk about a growing threat. Is part of the growing threat the notion that because they're harder to detect and because their operations have less moving parts, they have more opportunity to succeed?
Well, I would say that Al-Qaeda was forced to move into this stage. Actually, if we look at the history of Al-Qaeda, we see Al-Qaeda 1.0 started as a small base in Afghanistan. Then we have the franchise operation type of affiliated groups with Al-Qaeda. And now we have Al-Qaeda forced to launch its attack, not by organization, groups, and so on, but by individuals.
So you're calling this Al-Qaeda 3.0?
Yeah, that's exactly Al-Qaeda 3.0.
Yeah, and so they've embraced this fully.
Yeah.
And so what is their role now? Are they the recruiters or the radicalizers?
Yeah, well, they do it all. Actually, if you look at the process, they actually spread the net online and trying to attract the potential lone wolves. Once they find some, and only few will respond positively, they move them through a funnel, through a tunnel, into a recruiting process. Then comes the self-radicalization. Again, all done online. No meeting, no conferences, no conventions, no training camps, no terrorist camp. It's all done online. And finally, when the lone wolf is ready, they will teach him. If you look at the Boston Marathon attack, the two brothers were radicalized, were taught, and were launched online. More than that, we found the manuals that they downloaded to build a bomb. And we found the page in a magazine, Inspire magazine, English, glossy, stylish, launched by Al-Qaeda 3.0, online. And we found the page that they downloaded, how to build a bomb.
Using pressure cooker.
Pressure cooker, all the instructions, all the pictures, everything. They followed one by one.
Huh. So part of this, and this is a question for a psychologist, but it's almost like this notion that the NRA will say, well, guns don't kill people, people kill people. Inspire doesn't kill people, people kill people. Is this, in other words, can you identify these things as root causes? Or are these just people who are going to find some way to act, and these just become tools available to them?
Yeah, there's no single profile that fits all the lone wolves, because you can find males and females, old and young. You can find those that are motivated by social alienation. That is, they are Muslims living in the States and feel that they don't belong here, or Muslims living in European countries and feel, sometimes justly so, as second-rate citizens, and I would say the frustration, the social frustration, motivates them. You'll find others that are triggered or motivated by religious motives. So there's no single profile, but if there is something which is common to all of them, is the cyberspace. This process
very active in cyberspace.
Only.
But if I were a law enforcement official and I were asking you to be a profiler, you said that as far as motivations, there's no one profile. But is there something that you can look for as far as the type of individual, something on a more personal level?
Yeah, well, I think the basic way to find them, because lone wolves operate only in cyberspace, but they leave behind them a trail. They leave their footprints. So if you know how to track those footprints, you can find them, because the only way to find them is following the communication, the chatter, the exchanges, the emails, and so on online. And the way we did it, for example, when we studied, we looked at 79 cases of recent lone wolves. All of them were online. All of them were linked mostly to the same person. So you see the network is structured like a star. There are stars in the network. So this is the challenge, actually, of all the organizations, including the NSA, which is highly debated now, when monitoring the net. Because the only way to find the lone wolves is to trace them in cyberspace.
So does that make you an advocate of what the NSA has been doing, or are you on board with those who say they've gone too far?
I'll take the middle road. I think there should be monitoring. I think the only way to fight modern terrorism, maybe post-modern terrorism, is to apply this monitoring. But this monitoring has to be regulated. We need to know who's allowed to do it, how to do it, and where is the information stored, and who is allowed to have access to the information. So keep the monitoring, but have it regulated.
So final thought, this isn't a hopeless situation as far as a needle in a haystack type of search. You believe that there are ways that counterterrorism can uncover lone wolves?
Yeah, but we have to remember that this is a dialectic process. That is, we learn what they do, and they adapt to our countermeasures and develop a new one. More than that, modern terrorists never invented anything about cyberspace, any program, anything. But they learned very quickly how to use our own, or to abuse our own techniques.
Gabriel Weimann, thanks for joining us. We'll look forward to your future writings about this and eventually the book, correct?
Right.
Thanks again.